Hey everybody, this is Marsha B from Busy Bee MKT, and today I'm going to show you behind the scenes at my real job, which is running a theater department for middle school and high school. Look at this beautiful auditorium. Isn't that fabulous? It's pretty great. So now we're going to go backstage and you can see a little bit into my world. So right now on the stage, we have just what I'm referring to as kind of the skeleton of a set that we're beginning to put together. We're doing a Western, so these will be the storefronts of our Western town when we get it all put together. Our student productions are just that. They're student productions, and so my kiddos are going to start framing these pieces out. This is going to be the saloon right here. This will be the jail. That will be the schoolhouse, general store, and then the bank on the other side. So you just have to use your imagination because we're not even remotely close to it yet. All right, back here is one of my favorite things about being a theater teacher, and that is the costuming. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. Over here, we have some more set pieces. We've got our poker table set up here. And some of my high school boys are having to learn how to play Texas Hold'em for the play, of course. It's educational in nature. And then we have our shop over here where the kids can make big messes. They get to paint. They get to construct the set pieces. We've got all kinds of wood and, like I said, lots of paint. I went to Home Depot and Lowe's this week and got lots and lots of oops paint. So paint that would be, you know, $100 a bucket. It was marked down to about $30. These here are marked down to $9. These little ones were $2. So because we're not super particular about the brand of paint we use, just mainly looking for the colors, I always hit the oops section at Home Depot. I got these thrifted. We use these for another production, so we're going to give them new life. Bought these swinging saloon doors off of Facebook Marketplace, so these are also going to be used in the show. So I thrift a lot for the show, and I also try to teach the kids the skill so we can save money that way. Okay, so now we're walking into what I refer to as the hive, because my kids call me Mrs. B, and this is my office / green room. This is where the magic happens, all of the planning. The show we're preparing for right now, my husband and I wrote, and it's called Hold Your Horses. So it's a Western melodrama, so all the costumes we're getting ready are for the Wild West. The big playbills you see up on the wall are from past performances that my kiddos have done. And then we have a gathering space, which they love. And then over here we have one of my happiest of happy places, the wall of costumes. So again, we save things from shows gone by. I do clean out once a year if it's stuff that I don't feel like we'll ever use again, but we do like to recycle quite a bit. Please save snacks for evening rehearsals, because some of my little darlings just come and help themselves all throughout the day. And then over here I have buckets organized, hats, capes, belts, vests, feathers, a bucket of feathers, graduation robes. So I try to keep my life a little bit organized here, but I do work with a bunch of teenagers, so I feel like a lot of my job it's just cleaning up the messes behind them. So, like I said, we have a Western going on. So these costumes that are bagged are the costumes that we've already selected for students, and they've tried on and they're ready to go. So we put their names on their bags and keep all of their stuff together. So I'll show you a few of those. And then these are the leftovers for the kiddos who haven't had a chance to try on costumes yet. Got all my pants stacked by different sizes, different colors of bandanas. We've got belts down here. So they love come and play dress up, and I love to play dress up with them. Here's a costume that's in the works, and then I thought I would show you this lovely piece that I've been working on today. Okay, so we have a gang of outlaws in our Western, and the cool thing about them is that they're all female. We decided to kind of play with that idea, and so we want them to still look very feminine, but we also want them to look menacing and kind of scary. So the costume I'm about to show you is for the head, the lead of the gang. Her name is Jessie Jones, and she's a pretty bad mama jamma. So we wanted to make her look a little scary, and all the pieces I'm about to show you were thrifted, and I just kind of want to show you how we decided to put all these things together. Okay, so one thing I knew I wanted to do is I definitely wanted her to have that feminine factor, and so I wanted to find something lacy, and this was pretty perfect. Picked that up at the Goodwill for about $4. And then I wanted her to have some leather. So she's got a straight leather skirt here. Again, black because she's the supervillain. And then she has, the young lady who's playing this character, has long lace-up boots that'll just go perfectly with this, I believe. But this alone by itself is a little bleh. And so, of course, we had to find some stuff to add to it. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what the next steps of this costume are. Okay, so one thing I really like to do when I'm creating costumes is I like to do layers, especially in like the 1800s sort of Victorian era costumes, because a lot of them had bustles and all kinds of layers and petticoats and all of those things. So this play does take place in the 1800s in the Wild West. So I kind of wanted her to have a little bit of that bustly sort of feel, and so I found some other pieces that we're going to add to this. So this was a skirt. It had a black lining that I cut out, and I'm probably going to use that for something else. But I loved this because it has fringe on the bottom. Again, found this at, I think this one was at the Goodwill, either Goodwill or Texas Thrift. But it's sheer, so it kind of like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it around her waist. And the young lady who's going to be wearing this also bought this amazing corset that's going to go right here. So this whole section will be covered with something. So I'm going to put, right now I'm just going to pin it so you can kind of get the idea, but later on I'll put a hook and eye right here so she can just attach these. And I'm going to try to move the camera so you can see the bottom. So it just kind of creates this cool little flouncy effect down at the bottom. It just adds a little bit more texture and a little bit more interest to the costume. So I think when she tried it on the other day, it kind of sat on her hips like this. So you could still see the leather underneath it. All right. So that was layer number 2. And again, this was a skirt, and I just got the scissors after it and just cut it down the seam. Okay, now we wanted her to be in black because she's the bad guy, but we also wanted a little pop of color, and I decided that the pop of color should be red. And so I found this. This was a wool skirt that I found at Goodwill. It's really, really tiny. The waist was really, really tiny. So again, I split it, cut it down the middle, and we're gonna wrap this around her waist, just like the last one I did. So grab a pen. I'll just hold it up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So it's gonna wrap around her waist. I have to make like a 5-inch sort of sash right here, because she got a tiny little waist, but I do have to add a little piece here. But you can kind of see how it's adding like that extra little effect. Now, what's really fun is if we turn her around, she's got a little bustle going on in the back. So that really looks, time-wise appropriate for her. So all I did to create this bustle is I took the bottom of the skirt, just lifted it up, and then I pinned it up here to create a cute little bustle for her. So that is how she's going to be. So again, we do have her really cool black corset, And let me go grab a couple of other pieces that you can see that are going to kind of finish this off. So, of course, if it's the Wild West, she has to have a bandana. So we decided to give her like the blood red one. So again, that little pop of color up here for her. And then her hat is all tangled up with her belt. Her hat also has these little red things. And I believe I picked this up at an estate sale for maybe $4. So there's her hat. So you kind of get the idea there. We found this concho belt. So this is going to go here. Little touch of silver around her waist. And then this awesome old black leather, tooled leather holster. We'll go around her waist here. And she is not somebody anybody's going to want to mess with. So she's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, I just lost her bustle. So that's one of the things I've been working on that I'm really, really, really excited about. So that's Jessie Jones. And then I'm working on another costume for one of her fellow outlaws whose name is Jackie Jones. So I'll show you her in just a second. One of the reasons that I really love this job is that I get to combine my love of costuming and thrifting and productions at the same time. So it is a lot of fun. When we were deciding to costume the gang, we definitely wanted them to look different than like the other ladies that are in town. So we put a lot of the other ladies in pastels, but we wanted the gang to kind of stand alone. So we decided that blacks and browns would be their primary color scheme. So I found it kind of helps the audience a little bit if you sort of put family members or group members who are supposed to go together and interact, if you kind of put them in similar color schemes. It kind of helps the audience to be able to track who's who and who belongs with who. So we decided for the gang, it's browns and blacks and kind of interacting that. Also, we want to keep their femininity intact. And so lots of ruffles and lots of lace, but kind of edgy, sort of like the grunge cowgirl, sort of. All right, so this one is for the most feminine member of the group. And so we really wanted to put a lot of lace and fluff in her costume. So this is the base. Got this linen ruffled blouse at an estate sale, and I'm pretty sure I picked this petticoat up at a thrift store. Pretty sure that's where that came from. So I have had this skirt in my stash for a little while and just haven't ever found an occasion to use it, but I love it because it's kind of patchworky looking. However, it didn't really have the fluff, it didn't have the volume that we wanted for this character. And so again, we got handy dandy scissors and we split it down the middle. And then I added a secondary skirt, just sewed that a secondary skirt with ruffles to the inside of the original skirt, so it kind of fluffs it out, gives it some levels and some fluff. It gives it some volume. So we're gonna put this on her. Also, the mannequin was thrifted. Our dress barn was going out of business, so I picked it up there. Oh, goodness. It is helpful because I don't always have kids around to try these clothes on, nor is it appropriate for me to, be dressing and undressing the children all of the time. So these have come in very handy. Okay, so now we have 3 layers on the bottom. And that makes her a little more fluffed out. This is really a fun little thing. I had some extra stuff that I had cut, and so I made a little rosette down here, if you can see it, a little rosette out of the extra little fabric, because she is supposed to be the feminine one. But let me turn the camera around so you can kind of see it from head to toe. All right, so this is the bottom of the dress so far, and it's a little more fluffed out. I'm not quite done adding layers, so we will have a little more fluff, and then her blouse up at the top. But wait, we're not done. There's more. Okay, so this little skirt again is a lace, sheer lace over a it's almost like a t-shirt, like a jersey knit fabric. So I'm going to cut the lace off of this and use this to create another layer for this costume. It always makes my students a little bit nervous when we start cutting fabric, because once you start cutting, you know, it's it's kind of over. But I said, but you know, this is why we thrift. This is why we buy things for, you know, $5 or less, because it doesn't make you feel as bad cutting it up, and it's actually cheaper than fabric. Like if we were to go to the fabric store and try to find lace, it would cost a lot more than $3 to $5. So go ahead and cut it, make it useful, give it new life. That's what I say anyway. There was one time, however, that I was a little nervous about cutting up a garment, and that was a wedding dress. So we did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe a few years ago, and I needed a costume for the White Witch, and we found a lovely lace wedding dress at a thrift store for next to nothing, and I literally had that dress on the mannequin for at least a month before I could bring myself to cutting into a wedding dress, deconstructing a wedding dress. But then I thought, you know what, it was at the thrift store, so whoever had this originally probably would have been okay with us cutting it up and recycling it for a better purpose. Okay, so now I have this piece cut out, and it's just now a long piece of brown lace, and I'm really not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it, but I knew she needed a little extra on this costume. So you turn her to the side here. I'm kind of wanting to create, again, some levels, some bustling of some kind. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I play around with this stuff a lot before I actually sew it on. Okay, get out of here, sleeve. You're not a part of this. Oh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. It's like a little, can y'all see it? It's like a little side bustle. Oh, I think I love it. I think I love it. So again, what I'm doing is I'm just taking the bottom of this, and I'm going under, and I'm just tucking it in, which obviously I would sew it to the waistband, but okay, I'm kind of digging that. Now, how's this side different? What did I do different? What did I do different over here? They got to be matchy-matchy. Okay, maybe I bring it up here, put it there, bring this down. Something like that. Okay, well, you get the idea. You get the idea. So we'll do a little something like this. Let me see if I can get it to go in the back as well. All right, so that's that side. And then in the back, we've got a little, what can we do here? A little extra bustle in the back. I don't know. You kind of see where I'm going. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit, but I think it accentuates her hips a little bit. It makes those look really good. There's another piece. Oh! Okay, so she has a corset also. One of my students actually picked this up at Goodwill for $3.99. It was an XXL. So we had to cut some panels out of it because the girl who's wearing this is a teeny weeny little miss. So just to kind of give you an idea of where we're going. And once she puts this on, I may have to adjust. Well, the bustles may just have to go over the corset. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure what we're going to do with that. And then we got another piece of lace. This is kind of a blouse So there's my Goodwill sticker. This one I paid up for a little bit, $5.50. Oh my goodness. But we could even give her a little extra, you know, with this. And where's her hat? Her hat is a brown hat. The other one had a black hat. She's got a black. Oh, she looks very Indiana Jonesy, doesn't she? That's pretty cool. So again, we'll have to figure out the corset bustle bit when the young lady tries it on. And she's going to get black boots. All right, I'm going to switch the camera around so you can see it from head to toe. All right, so there's Jackie Jones. I did add this belt to the center. I picked this belt up at the Goodwill bins for next to nothing, which was very exciting. So there she is from head to toe. So again, kind of a rustic outlaw look. This is another of the outfits that I'm super excited about. The bodice and the skirt itself came from an estate sale, but it wasn't long enough. So I knew I needed some extra fabric that kind of would match the color scheme that we've got going on here. So there is a thrift store very close to me that sells things for 45 cents on Tuesdays and Fridays. And so I got this hideous long like sheath dress. It was, I don't know, probably at least another foot long, and it had some staining and stuff on it, so nobody was going to buy it, but I bought it for 45 cents, and I used the fabric down at the bottom and added it with some lace and some plum colored velvet to the bottom of the skirt to make it the appropriate length for the young lady who's going to be wearing this. Now, the next step I want to take is to create a bustle for her. And so I'm going to take what's left of this fabric and maybe some more of the velvet and see if I can't construct a bustle. So we'll see if that comes together or not. All right, so I'm about to cut this thing up, and one thing I do like to try to do when I'm destroying a garment is to use every part of it. So I'm going to do my best to try to salvage the zipper because it's a really long zipper, and I feel like I could probably reuse that for something later on down the line. So I'm going to try to be careful and keep the zipper for further projects. All right, so now she's cut out, and you can see I left enough of the edge so that I could easily sew that into another garment if we need a long zipper. So it's kind of just a fun little hack that I've learned. Okay, so now after cutting the zipper off, I've got one wide piece, and I cut it the shoulders across, and now I'm going to bring this piece right here. I'm going to bring it in here and pin it like the other one, and that's going to add a little extra flounce. I'm also not having to worry about cutting things or hemming other things. We're just kind of tucking everything in. And then also, if I ever decide to take the bustle apart, I could have this bodice still in one piece, not cut into a million pieces. So I'm going to pin this, and then I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when I put it on the mannequin. So in the middle of this tunic, it has like a natural seam line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that natural seam line right there, and I'm going to tuck it up and under, and then pin it from underneath so it'll create kind of a little floof like that. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Again, I took this little seam that was down here in the middle, and I tucked it up under there and then pinned it. And so it creates the beginning of a little bustle. There's the pocket sticking out. Hopefully we can just lose it in the seams. That almost, look how cool that looks. Okay, so what I could do is come in here and do one more. So tuck this bottom part that's still hanging, tuck this up and under. You back up. Tuck this up and under, and so it'll make one more little poof. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, there it is with the second little floof put in there, and the pocket's kind of hiding. So now what I'll go in and do is just, run a seam across the waistband to make sure that none of that's going anywhere. and any edges that need to be cleaned up. But that is the beginning of a bustle. So how fun is that? Oh, she's gonna look so cute. But I think I have some other fabric that we can add to this. So I'll show you the finished product when it's done, but that's kind of how I just take scraps and turn them into something useful. All right, so I do still have some of this lace that I put on the bottom. So I think I'm gonna frame out the bustle in the lace all the way around. And I had just a teeny tiny little bit of that plum velvet that I have down in the bottom. It's just kind of a cute little bow on her bottom. She's also gonna wear a full petticoat under this, so it'll poof out quite a bit more. But yeah, so the dress cost $5 at an estate sale. I've got her arms tied around front. That looks a little crazy. And this plum colored tunic, like I said, was 45 cents. This was just scrap that I had, and the lace was something I think I picked up for $1 at an estate sale. So we're looking at, maybe $6 total for this cute little outfit. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is for our school teacher. Her name is Mary Berry. And I think she's going to be precious. Let's uncross your arms, lady. All right, very fun. This is just kind of thrifting taken to the next level. So I'm finding these treasures and then I'm turning them into something else, which is very fun for me. I think you can probably tell it's very, very fun for me. So just wanted to give you kind of a little inside look to what's been going on with me. Hopefully I'll get to go thrifting for myself again pretty soon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.